Um, well, I'd have to say that, in my opinion, different people have different learning speeds. So I know some people that have been here for 1 year or 2 years and can speak and read and write pretty well in Chinese, and some people that have been here for 7 or 10 years that don't know any Chinese or speak very little. It just depends who you are and how much you speak. But the average learning curve, I would say, if you come to Beijing and live and study here, make sure you study for 2 years. You can speak you can speak more than well enough to get by, enough to express yourself, and making friends is a good way to help you learn too. Um, yeah, Chinese is really not like English or French or Spanish related to us, um, because we kind of those languages have similar structures to English, but this one is a lot more tonal. Different words have different meanings according to their tones. For example, the utterance ma, ma, had there are four tones. First tone is flat, ma. The second tone is rising, ma. The third tone makes a dip, ma, and the fourth tone is short, ma, ma. And those are all different words. But some helpful words are like son and mother and hello. Son, 儿子, 我的儿子. Mother, mama, mama. Hello, 你好. Thank you, 谢谢. Oh, 谢谢,非常感谢,谢谢. How are you? 你好吗? I'm good. 我很好. Another phrase that people say a lot is if you have a friend that you run into on the street and you haven't seen them, all afternoon or something, you say, "Hey, 你好,你吃了吗? And that means have you eaten? 你吃的吗? And that's like a way of saying, "What's up? Hey, have you eaten?" Most people just ride motorized tricycles or motorbikes, but there are a lot of bikes, more bikes than cars, probably more bikes than people. Most of the rickshaws that you see are in tourist areas where people, take tourists around so they can pick up extra money. But if you think about it, a bike is pretty practical. I mean, whereas a car will get stuck in traffic, a bike, you just zip right through it. They have bike lanes, and the city is really built for bikes. Mostly, I'd have to say Chinese people, so far from what I've seen, wear whatever they like. Um, Fashion, I guess you can consider, would be kind of a rising concept in China since after the 1980s, when the country really opened to the rest of the world. Um, but now you go here, you walk down the street, and you can see kids wearing streetwear. I mean, it's fairly new and popular right now. Um, Kids on the subway will be wearing Vans or with plaid shirts and fitted hats. I got this hat actually in China. The panda will never die. And faux glasses as well. Most older people really dress, more professionally. Like if you have a professional lifestyle, you'll dress in slacks and dress shoes and a shirt and carry a briefcase when you go to work. I guess jeans are pretty popular, but tennis shoes on the whole, not sneakers so much, but tennis shoes are really, really popular. Like everyone wears tennis shoes. You see old people in the park with like a traditional cloth shirt and a jacket and a big old hat that has ears that come down here that wrap around, and they'll be wearing Chuck Taylors or wearing cross trainers or Reeboks. I guess people here are really health conscious. The older people, so they're always exercising and out, like flying kites or being sociable. As for if they all eat the same food, there probably is many different types of Chinese food, even more as there are types of American food. Here have a wide array of different foods. In the north, there's a lot more stews and a lot more. Hey, yeah, there's more. And in the north, they eat more rice. Um, Tofu is a pretty important dish. They have a lot of tofu. Um, and places like in Sichuan have really, really hot food. If you go out west to Urumqi, they also have spicy food, but it's a lot more with a lot more cumin and pepper, a lot more with a Middle Eastern flair. So there's a lot of different types of food, as well as Western food. American food is here too. There's a McDonald's across the street. Um, Beijing itself is pretty famous for its roast duck and its their jiaozi, their dumplings, and their lamb kebabs that they sell on the street meat, and donkey rolls, which is donkey meat in a roll. If you fly directly from Beijing to Philadelphia or from Beijing to DC, it's about 14 hours. 14 hours. So that's, and it sounds short. It sounds short, but when you're sitting in one cabin, just the whole time, it just. One example is called the erhu, which is a two-string fiddle, a type of Chinese fiddle. Um, Another one is called the guban, which is two wooden blocks that have a string connecting them that you clack together, which is and it's used in a type of Chinese storytelling. And the yue, which is another type of mouth organ. Uh, a lot of Western instruments have Chinese names too, like the clarinet. It's called the heiguan. I've never seen a knife fight, but I've heard that they occur. People do fight with knives, even though fights don't occur all that often, um, to such the scale that we have in the States. Um, yeah, for the fights, for the most part, don't really occur with knives. I mean, people just really handle themselves with their words, although the words really won't be very pretty, and they'll, will be cursing in the street. Um, but not too many frequent knife fights, not too many frequent fights. But because there are no guns here, guns aren't allowed. They're completely illegal. They there is a prevalence of knives and bats and brass knuckles, and beer bottle fights. But Beijing is really much safer than most cities in the United States. There's very, very little violent crime. No, I don't think I've seen any ninjas here. Um, there might be ninjas. I think there are ninjas in Japan that actually practice ninjutsu. There probably are some people that practice ninjutsu here, but on the day to day, you don't really run into boom a ninja. Um, but what you will see is people in the park, like a park like this. You come here around sunset, and you'll see people doing tai chi or dancing, or practicing martial arts. But China is the home of Chinese kung fu, of kung fu and wushu, and Chinese martial arts. But well, all right, Section 704. It's time for me to say zaijian. Peace, you guys. See you later. I really appreciate you guys shooting me a line out to learn more about China. Hope you guys keep Mr. Edwards in check, and hopefully give you some extra credit for this. All right, I got a train to catch. Oh, laptop.